Commissioner Vanella?
Here.
Commissioner Hightower?
Here.
Commissioner Webb?
Here.
Commissioner Goss?
Here.
And Mayor Butler.
Here.
Before we get started, if it please the council, can I lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Surely.
First on the agenda. You got, where's the flag?
All right. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen. Thank you, guys.
Supposed to be my last meeting.
Looking at the minutes of the regular meeting of October the 9th. Any addition or correction? Not, they will be approved. Okay. I would like to comment a little bit on a trip I took last week.
Oh, yeah.
Veterans honor flight to Washington. It was an all-day excursion, and it was probably the greatest one-day trip I've ever taken. There were 67 veterans on the flight. Each one had a guardian, so that anybody who needed assistance at any time received it. The flight was well organized. Everybody was considerate, kind. The people on the airplane staff really did a great job. It was truly an honor to visit the various monuments and memorials around the Capitol building. I cannot say enough in the way of appreciation for the trip. And I would recommend a similar excursion privately, if necessary, by anyone who can do it. It was an emotional trip. It brought a lot of things to mind. And I tell you, I've been out there before, but the Washington Monument was so impressive. It was absolutely fantastic. I've seen it, I've seen pictures, I've been up to the top of it, but this trip, for the first time, I suppose, really touched me. And of course, you look down through there and you see the Capitol, you see the Lincoln Memorial. One thing that really impressed me was the Korean War Memorial. They have an area in which they show soldiers on patrol. There were 19 of these statues, stainless steel, and each one had the face of a soldier that had served in Korea. It was very, very touching. So I really appreciate everybody who contributed to make that trip possible. And as I say, I would commend it to anyone. Now, having said that, do we have anyone who has something they want to bring before the council at this time? Okay.
Well, that was really great doing the Pledge of Allegiance. Is this the first time you've done that here, or have you done it before?
Well, I've been to Washington before, but never on anything like this.
I'm talking about the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag a while ago. Is that the first time you've done that here?
I don't know, it's,
Yeah?
yes. It's,
I tell you what, that's wonderful. My name's, can you hear me? My name's Jim Johnson. I'm from Marion, Illinois. I was here a couple weeks ago, October 9th, at the October meeting. And I made a few statements that I believed September 13th in 2015, when I said they were going to collapse the economy, I believe that that got into the hands and the powers that be, where, not me, but God through me, where they didn't collapse the American economy. And that's what they want to do. And I also mentioned that I believe that last Friday the 13th that Rocket Man was going to nuke Hawaii, the Hawaiian Islands, which never happened either. But let me tell you something, that October 9th meeting that we had here, of all the things I spoke about, a couple days later, Mike Boss had an open meeting over the telephone, and they were talking about him, so I was the last one to talk, and I mentioned, I said, I think that that Korean dictator was going to nuke Hawaii, and this guy was a highly decorated guy that was monitoring the meeting for Mike Boss. He said, well, I hope that the United States government is in a place where we can counteract that. And I said, well, what's interesting is, you know, Franklin Roosevelt, who was a 33rd degree Freemason, he knew that they were going to bomb Pearl Harbor before they bombed it. Well, you could hear a pin drop. They got off really quick off the radio station then. But I want to let you know something. Then the day after that, I called the White House, and I told them to watch the Marion City Council October 9th meeting. And guess what? Guess who's on his way to Pearl Harbor right now? President Trump. I don't know if there's a correlation or not. But anyway, hopefully that was a deterrent, because I believe our Freemasonic-controlled Pentagon will allow them to do it. They hate President Trump. They just hate him, because he's America first. And these people that are against him want one world government. That's what they want. They do not want America first. I believe they even poisoned Ronald Reagan with some kind of neurotoxic mercury and stuff, and gave him that to give him Alzheimer's, because, you know, he was the kind of man that was America first. And George Bush, that was the head of the CIA, that became president after that, he was a skull and bonesman. His father, Prescott Bush, was a skull and bonesman, and so was the younger Bush was a skull and bonesman. So I believe he knew 9/11 was going to happen. If he didn't, he should have anyway, because they've got all these plans to turn everything upside down. But anyway, I'm a veteran. I'm a Navy veteran, and I'm a Vietnam era veteran, and I was a hospital corpsman. And since you mentioned Korean War, the hospital corpsman was the most highly decorated, the Navy hospital corpsman. I want you to, that's a good fact to know. But I was a hospital corpsman for the Navy and Marine Corps, and I used my GI Bill, and I became a registered nurse. I'm a man in many hats, and I'm wearing this one. I wore a cowboy hat last time, but I'm wearing this one. I got to thinking about it. I said, well, I guess I could have worn my nurse's cap, since these are the days of Caitlyn Jenner. I'm just kidding.
Well, that's all very interesting, Jim, but what's the point?
Well, the point is, you know, I want to, if you allow me, in the name of Jesus, I want to bring the Christian, patriotic, constitutional American into a place of safety before World War III, because it's coming. And God has shown me what to do and how to do it. I never explained exactly why that constitutional tribunal that I wanted Trump to write an executive order for at the Williamson County Courthouse to legally and openly expose Illuminized Freemasonry controlled by the European Rothschild family and American Rockefeller families as treason in the United States. I never explained why that needs to be done. And today I want to tell you why it needs to be done. Because this country is so divided right now, so divided that there is not going to be any healing. Now, what's going to happen? This is what the Lord's told me. We don't want a revolutionary war. We certainly do not want a civil war, because it wasn't civil law, and more people died in that war than all our wars put together. And we don't want a racial war. Right now, if there was a racial war, I think whites would win over blacks because there's more, but nobody wants that. Nobody wants a racial war. So what God wants to do is restore the brotherhood between true Israel and true Judah that he broke before Jesus Christ returns. Now that last eclipse we had started tribulation. It came, most of it came over Egypt and the Western Hemisphere, which is Southern Illinois.
Jim, we appreciate the history, but let's move on. What is it you...
Well, I'm trying to explain to you what's going on here. In another 7 years, there's going to be another eclipse that's going to crisscross Marion and Carbondale. And that's why I passed out all the information a couple years ago. Now, that's going to be somewhere in March or April of 2024. Now, God's revealed to me, nobody knows our day when Jesus Christ returns, but he revealed to me in my spirit it would be near a full moon in June 2024. So we got a small window here with Trump as president, because after that, all hell's going to break loose. We got a small window here. We only got 3.5 years now. So after we do this constitutional tribunal at the Williamson County Courthouse, and we legally and openly expose Freemasonry and the international banking elite as treason in the United States, and our senators and congressmen and president are forced to sign off the contrived federal deficit with a stroke of a pen, we'll have our jubilee. And then there's going to be a second exodus here from Egypt and the Western Hemisphere. All former Cherokee properties are going to be restored to the Cherokee Indian because 400 treaties have been broken by white Freemasonry, not white Christians, white Freemasonry controlled by the European Rothschild family that wanted their gold and silver.
Okay, that's all very interesting, Jim, but let's move on. We know this history. You've recited this to us.
What I'm trying to say is all former Cherokee properties before 1812 are going to be returned to them on the condition it's shared with white Israel. Now, the white race are the lost sheep of the house of Israel. God wants to restore that brotherhood because these Jews, these satanic Jews, the Rothschilds and Rockefellers, they hate Christians and they hate Jews.
Well, that may very well be true, but the city council can't do anything about those things. So what else have you got that you want to tell us besides the history?
Well, you know, I took an oath as United States Navy veteran. Yes.
Do you have a forum somewhere other than in this facility?
No, I'm just a resident of Marion, and I'm trying to express what I believe is going on here to help us, to help our people. Because I'll tell you what, it's going to really, really be bad. Now, what their plan is to start...
Respectfully, sir, we don't all agree or all disagree, but tonight is about a lot of our permanent present city, not just the world and Christianity and racism.
Well, I'm talking...
And I personally take offense to part of what you say. I also am a citizen here, but I didn't come to hear this. I didn't come to hear your agenda.
Well, maybe I didn't come here to hear your agenda.
Hey, Jim.
Do you think I didn't come to hear your agenda?
Hey, Jim.
Yes.
We've heard all we need to hear. We see where you're coming from, and we appreciate your intent. But we've heard all we need to hear.
So you don't want to hear about how World War III is going to start?
I do not now. We do not have the time. If it's going to start sometime in the future, we can hear about that later. But I think you pretty well stated your thinking and your opinions, and you've had plenty of time to explain.
Well, people didn't hear about it when Pearl Harbor was bombed.
Well, okay. We appreciate that. All right, thank you.
I thank you, and I appreciate it.
Okay.
And I appreciate your opinion. But you should respect mine, too.
I do, sir.
Okay. Anyone else have something we need to...
I have a rental.
It's on the
Is it
agenda.
on the agenda?
Yes.
Well, come on. If you got something to say, come on.
Hers is on the agenda, I think.
Is it?
Which item is it?
Short-term rental?
Speaking to the microphone.
Short-term rental.
Yes, you're on.
Number 5.
Am I on the agenda? I think I'm number 5.
1304 North Garfield?
Yes.
Yes.
I've owned this property. I'm Belinda Evans Koenig. I've owned this property and rented this property for over 15 years, and now I want to do short-term rental for it.
Okay, you've gone through the code enforcement people for this?
Yes, it's all been inspected.
Okay, and what happened?
It's all approved, ready to go.
Okay, then what,
The council has to approve.
The council has to approve it.
You have,
well,
it's in
any
your
question,
packet.
discussion?
I mean, so was there anybody at the meeting at this?
It's,
No, we had the meeting on last Wednesday or something, or Thursday.
Do any of your neighbors object to this?
No.
Do they know about it?
Yes.
Okay,
I went and talked to everyone.
it's been rental property for years. It's right straight across from the pool, and
Right next to Casey's that they're building now.
situation, okay,
Yeah.
what's your pleasure?
I'll second it.
Motion made and seconded, call the roll.
Commissioner Vanella.
Yay.
Commissioner Hightower.
Yay.
Commissioner Webb.
Yay.
Commissioner Goss.
Yay.
And Mayor Butler.
Yay,
Thank you.
yeah, you're in business.
That's pretty easy.
Okay, now, is there anyone else that isn't on the agenda?
Here I am, Mr. Mayor. My name is Brenda Futch.
Speaking to the mic.
These things are tall. I am the owner of We Three Girls Flowers, which of course you know I lost June the 4th to a devastating fire. I have finally determined something that I need to do, and I have talked to the code enforcement gentleman downstairs, but I think I've thrown him something a little uniquely different. What I'm asking for, sir, is a 60 to 90-day period in time to do a temporary facility to sell my silk, the remainder of fall and Christmas cemetery flowers, so that I don't lose those customers that have been coming to me for years. And what my question has been to him is, he keeps telling me I have to go by code, but he can't explain to me what code is, other than an architectural drawing.
Oh, my. Do we have
I think what
any
she
people
wants,
here?
no. I think what she wants is similar to a building that is at,
Is a prefab, it's a,
well, there's one that sells fruit at Russell and DeYoung,
yes,
and I'm assuming you want something very similar.
very similar to that, yes. And the ability to set 2 tents, because I will be doing grave blankets and they are bulky, and to fence that area for the Christmas holiday season, and then to be able to come to the code gentleman in the spring with my longer-term commitments.
Okay, right now, then you're talking about 90-day temporary situation.
Absolutely, sir, yes.
Okay, you don't have to have an architect or any of that nonsense, forget it. Is there any reason why this can't work?
Yeah.
Yeah, he made the most, I'll second it.
Okay, so I can go forth. I just didn't want to buy the building and then be told I couldn't use it.
Well, we can't vote on it, it's not on the agenda.
No.
It's not on the agenda, but that's,
We in agreement.
okay, we're all in agreement, go ahead.
What's the address?
It's 509 West DeYoung
I thought it
Street.
was on the agenda.
Thank you.
I don't.
Yeah, I'd say it's no.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Vote on it formally at our next meeting, but for the time being, you're in business.
I can start setting up without problems.
You will need a special use permit,
Okay,
okay?
do I get that downstairs?
Yeah, you start it down there.
Okay.
This is we're only talking about a 90-day deal through the
Right.
Christmas season.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so let's don't make a constitutional Supreme Court case out of it.
Right.
Go right ahead.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Thank you, gentlemen.
No,
I hesitate to ask if anybody else has something.
I want to.
I just can't believe I got interrupted for that.
I did turn in.
Well, every dog has its day. You've had yours, she has had hers. Now let the council have ours.
Did you know Hillary Clinton taught me how to bark?
No, and I'm not sure I need to know. Okay, that being the case,
Well, I'm gonna go. I appreciate it. I mean, I love you guys.
yeah, good.
You know I do.
Okay, Resolution 2017-18, and this is the one that would approve the giving of the Pledge of Allegiance at the beginning of each council meeting.
It's just something, we need this now. I mean, an ordinance, and it's something so fundamental, we probably really need an ordinance for it. I mean,
Well,
It's just a resolution. I wrote a resolution. Is it not in your packet?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I don't see any problem with it.
No, I'd make a
So,
motion.
you got a motion made, is there a second?
Second.
Call the roll.
Commissioner Ranella.
Yay.
Commissioner Hightower.
Yay.
Commissioner Webb.
Yay.
Commissioner Goss.
Yay.
And Mayor Butler.
Yay. Okay, who can tell us about the construction bids on the Railroad Street water main?
I can, or Glenn can. This morning at 11 o'clock, we opened these bids. We're going to put in 1,025 feet of 8-inch water main on Railroad Street from Boulevard to Belcher. Yes. Replace an old main, and actually what it's going to do, there's an old 4-inch or 6-inch? It goes down.
On South Court, you'll see two patches there, but
Yeah.
that's where the 4 inches been rolled up and been leaking, and it's in real bad shape. We'll abandon that 4-inch and put a new 8-inch behind through there on Railroad Street.
And then everybody's service will come off of that. So we opened the bids this morning, had 4 bids. Actually, you can see the engineer's estimate was $94,719.50, of which 3 of those bids come underneath that, with J.M. Jones of Thompsonville having the low bid of $86,439, and it's my motion to accept his bid.
Second.
Call the roll.
Commissioner Ranella.
Yay.
Commissioner Hightower.
Yay.
Commissioner Webb.
Yay.
Commissioner Goss.
Yay.
Mayor Butler.
Yay. Okay, Jim, you got this?
Yes. Yeah, under the Police Department, item A, I make a motion for council to approve a resignation of Patrol Officer Nicholas McLaughlin. He's chose to leave the force on his own for personal reasons. I'll make
Second.
that motion.
Second.
Motion made, second. Call the roll.
Commissioner Ranella.
Yay.
Commissioner Hightower.
Yay.
Commissioner Webb.
Yay.
Commissioner Goss.
Yay.
Mayor Butler.
Yay.
And item B, I make a motion for council approval of appointment of Tyler Smith to position vacated by McLaughlin. Tyler is currently employed at the Marion PD. He is on the merit board list. I was fortunate enough to get to sit on an interview. Very impressive young man. He started as a part-time dispatcher in May of 2015. He was moved to full-time in September of this year. He volunteers on his own time, comes in and rides with our officers just to gain some experience, and works part-time for the Sheriff's Auxiliary as well. So I would make my motion.
Second.
Call the roll.
Commissioner Ranella.
Yay.
Commissioner Hightower.
Yay.
Commissioner Webb.
Yay.
Commissioner Goss.
Yay.
Mayor Butler.
And then item C, again, I make a motion, council approval of hiring Benjamin Wiley as a full-time dispatcher to fill the position vacated by Tyler Smith, appointment to patrol officer. Wiley was a full-time dispatcher with the Williamson County for about the last 10, 11 years. So he comes to us very experienced. He's just got to kind of learn our equipment a little bit, but we think he's going to hit the ground running.
Yeah.
So with that, I'll make my motion.
That's your motion?
Second.
Second. Call the roll.
Commissioner Ranella.
Yay.
Commissioner Hightower.
Yay.
Commissioner Webb.
Yay.
Commissioner Goss.
Yay.
Mayor Butler.
Yay.
Jim, I got a question. When we make this conversion, and we're hoping, being on the 911 board, thank you for that.
You're welcome.
No, okay. But when we make this conversion and Marion takes over 70% of the 911 calls in Williamson County, have we hired all our dispatchers yet? Or do we still have one that, I thought we was going to hire.
I think there's going to be room for some more if we take on all that, you know.
Well, I knew didn't we make Phil Boner and, well, I guess Tyler. Yeah, they went from,
Part-time.
and then, but I thought we had approved another full-time dispatcher, and I guess my question is, I know we're not there yet, and we're probably still weeks away, but I thought we was gonna bring that individual on, and maybe this threw a cog in it, because this was gonna be him before all this happened, and So,
Yeah.
do we still have a dispatch position to fill?
I probably need to consult with the police chief to make sure on that.
Because it's going to be, I mean, folks, this is going to be big for us.
Yeah, and you think that'll happen before the end of the year, or?
And
Actually, I mean, Terrence, can you speak to that? I mean, is this?
I can't. We're so far ahead of the game anyway that we're in a luxury of taking this a little bit at a time, but there's different things that's transpired between our system and Heron's system and then the county, you know.
but that's
And
getting
then
straightened out.
It's
I mean, we're still going to have all three departments in on this? I mean, the county, Heron, and Marion, or
no,
anybody know?
no.
So just going to be two?
The Heron and
Strictly
Marion.
Marion.
Heron and Marion will do 70% of the 911 calls, and Heron will do 30%.
And we'll pay 50% of the,
And we'll get X amount of dollars a month. I want to say right now it's 12,000, and with this last budget, things happen there. I think we're going to get more money than that.
We'll need it.
Well, yeah, we'll need it.
I'll say.
But anyway, this is something that shouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
We was set up under New Generation with 3 PSAPs in Williamson County, and then that got taken away. We was forced to drop a PSAP. Well, you know, the county opted out, which is smart on them,
Yeah.
but you know, they also put a burden and
We'll be taking care of
I'll
our
tell you,
business
there's
and a whole
problem.
lot of others, so.
well, it's not so much for Carterville, but out there in Blairsville and that part of the county, I mean, we're here again, you know, the burden's been shifted to the taxpayer, and we got to put up a new repeater system. It's
And the consolidation has been handed down from the state, right?
the consolidation's been handed down from the state. We have did that. We're trying to get everything together, but to say, I mean, actually, our what was our first target date? September 1st?
Somewhere around.
Yeah, and we're ahead of the game, but to tell you it's going to happen by the end of the year, I don't know.
Okay.
I really don't.
That's a good
Well,
point.
Rome wasn't built in a day, and neither is this
but-
system.
And we don't need to jump into something we're not ready to and put people's lives at risk. So
It looks like we're getting there.
we're headed in the right direction.
Okay. Civic Center. You got that, Gail?
Actually, I believe the council has a letter in their packet from the Civic Center Board asking for reappointment for 3-year terms from November 1st, 2017 to October 31st, 2020 for Martha Stinson, Beth Hammer, Sandra Blankenship, Jacqueline Hancock, and Waylon Sims.
Be my motion to approve those reappointments.
second.
Got a second? Call roll.
Commissioner Vanella?
Yay.
Commissioner Hightower?
Yay.
Commissioner Webb?
Yay.
Commissioner Goss?
Yay.
Mayor Butler?
Okay, there's Chris.
Number 5 had two pieces.
We've already taken it.
We've got 2 pieces.
Good evening, Council. Mayor? Okay, I've got 2, for Hub Recreation Center, I've got 2 higher recommendations this evening. Jennifer Thomas for lifeguard, part-time lifeguard at $9.50 per hour. And Araya Cosby, part-time basketball staff at $8.50 per hour. Both part-time positions.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Call roll.
Commissioner Vanella?
Yay.
Commissioner Hightower?
Yay.
Commissioner Webb?
Yay.
Commissioner Goss?
Yay.
And Mayor Butler?
Yay.
That is all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Chris. All right, ordinance 3407.
Maybe Glenn.
Okay. This is a petition for annexation of certain property out near the Pepsi-Cola plant owned by Harry Fluke, John Fluke, and Susan Tregoning, their sister. And they have the description set out there. They request that it come in as rural agriculture. Nobody's living on the land at this time. Okay, I think you all have a copy of the map on that. Glenn has been working with them trying to get everything put together.
Looks like it's about 16 acres, is that what I'm reading?
Yeah, there's a little bit over 60. There's 15.94 acres east of the section line, and there's 30-foot strip on the west side of the section line. That's to get that sort of land. That's in the city limits as part of the TIF project.
You have any objection to that, Mayor?
Yeah.
You have an objection to it?
No, this is good. It's needed. It's necessary for what is being proposed.
I'll make the motion,
I'll
accept
second.
ordinance.
Motion made, seconded to adopt the ordinance
3407.
3407. Call the roll.
Commissioner Vanello?
Yay.
Commissioner Hightower?
Yay.
Commissioner Webb?
Yay.
Commissioner Goss?
Yay.
And Mayor Butler.
Yay. Okay. Have a little discussion, approval of electrical contract bids for city buildings.
As Rob hands this out, you might recall seeing these two gentlemen when they presented a gas contract for our city buildings. They have also just recently finished bidding out for our city buildings for electric. So we have gas and electric. This is not an aggregation, and so we have Jeff Harmon and Rob to speak to you about the bids for, and this would be effective June 2018.
Correct.
Mayor, Commissioners, thank you. In front of you, I got a couple of quick things that I'll show you, and then I'll answer any questions. We, through the Marion Chamber gas and electricity buying program on the commercial side, sent out requests for bids from the following suppliers that are listed on this sheet. Some of those suppliers will bid terms as long as 36 months. Some will bid terms as long as 48 months. Those are all indicated on this sheet, the various levels and the prices that they all came back and bid. On the second sheet, the one that I want you to sort of take a quick look at, and I'm going to give a very brief explanation on, the price of electricity is made up of a number of different components, one of which is capacity. The blue lines represent the past 4 years and the price that capacity contributed, which is about a third of the total price of electricity. The orange lines are what they expect the future price of capacity to be. So, we have sent you, your contract doesn't expire until June of 18, however, I think through Gail, we've had a number of conversations. I think Gail has spoken to a few other people. We are recommending to our electricity customers, just as you did with your aggregation for your residents, the time to extend the contracts is now. The market is right. We're in a dip in the capacity market where we feel like you ought to take advantage of that. So I want to give you, I'm going to walk you through this quick number up here. We show the rates for your current rate in about the middle of the column, current home field energy rate, which is one of the suppliers. You're currently at 5.411 cents per kilowatt hour for your buildings, right? We have received rates from Mid-American, who we would recommend at this point based on the lowest bid, that range anywhere from 4.5 cents per kilowatt hour for 12 months to 4.745 cents per kilowatt hour to lock that rate in for 4 years, all the way up to 48 months. Excuse me. So if you follow this all the way over to the right, in the yellow column, if you look at your current number, 5.41, and you compare that to the prices that we've received for the various terms, your savings could be anywhere from $81,000 a year for 1 year, if you took a 1-year price, all the way up to a total of $239,000 less than what your current rate is, if you want to extend all the way out to 48 months. So, as I was talking to the mayor and Gail, the one thing that finance guys typically like is rate certainty. They like to know what the rates are going to be, and if they can have that built in for the next several years at a point where it's favorable in the market, it's time to do that now. So our recommendation to the council is to authorize the mayor to sign an extension based on the rates that you guys have seen here. I think the attorney is reviewing a couple of documents to make sure that he's comfortable with Mid-American's contract, but that would be our recommendation at this time.
And they kind of jump off the page here.
Yeah. It does. There's no question. I mean, if you can't see that the timing is right in the market right now, you're just not looking at it because it's, you know.
Where do these other rates come from? Constellation, Homefield, Direct Energy? Are those rates that were sent to us, or did you get those?
All of these rates are, we coordinated the bid for all of these. So all of these suppliers, we reached out and said, hey, price the City of Marion's accounts. These are the numbers based on your previous usage that they all submitted as their best numbers.
To you?
To us, right.
And you are?
We are Affordable Gas and Electric. We're the coordinating member for the Marion Chamber and Carbondale Chamber and Mount Marion and all the chamber programs throughout Southern Illinois. So on the commercial side, we aggregate or we group together all of the commercial accounts throughout Southern Illinois. Similar to the way your residents buy through the residential program.
So it's your recommendation that we do a 3-year contract with AEP?
Four for Mid-America.
I would suggest if you want to go out as far as 48 months, you're not going to go wrong by going 48 months. If you feel more comfortable at 36.
What would you recommend?
Yeah, the rate that's on this blue sheet is the rate from Mid-American. It's at 4.745 cents. Starting in June of 18 and running through June of 22, which would be a 48-month number.
What do you think, Steve? 3 or?
The contract from Mid-America I like a lot better. I do not like the contract with AEP. Their renewal contract, they've got a provision in there that says they can send you a new renewal notice within 30 days after the termination of the contract. You have 5 business days to respond. If you don't, you now have a new contract with whatever terms you have. The other contract is a lot more equally based in terms of power between you and them.
Do they have the right to give us notice in writing to adjust the rates?
No.
Mid-America?
This is that one is a fixed contract. If you want to enter into a new agreement with them.
That would be a firm contract for 4 years.
Yes, sir.
Can we opt out?
You can terminate it early under certain circumstances, but even the language underneath that, you're going to be having a 4-year contract. If you take any of the locations off because of any reason whatsoever, both of these contracts say that we're going to be paying them what we would have had to pay them under the terms of the contract.
It looks like Mid-American's a Berkshire Hathaway company, so I guess they're viable.
It is.
Yeah.
No question. Yep.
In other words, Steve,
They're backed by the big boys.
Steve, I understand you say we can't terminate, period.
You can.
Yeah,
I'm
but
saying even though you terminate, you're going to be paying.
Well, basically, you're saying we can't, right? Yeah. We're locked in. Okay.
Right.
Is there any risk if power prices do soar 3 years out that, I mean, these guys are going to guarantee this price? I mean,
well,
that's the basis of the fixed contract.
They're not required to bond to make sure they can deliver then?
Not under
no.
the terms of the contract.
Okay.
Should they be?
Sir?
Should they be?
I don't know how you're going to have anybody bond that.
Right.
Yeah, that'd be tough.
Yeah.
It's a couple trunk guy works at a power plant.
Well,
so it's really your pleasure.
I think it's incumbent upon, I think it's incumbent upon the city to do what's best for its, its citizens, and if this is a pretty good cash savings.
I should say so,
And,
but this is strictly for city buildings.
Yeah, I know it.
Yeah, this is straight to the bottom line, essentially, of the city.
Yeah. to me, it looks like a good deal.
Yeah.
For 40.
Yeah. Over 4 years, you're looking at, what, 60+ thousand a year to the bottom line, based on current numbers, so.
It's better kicking the shins. Okay, what's your
I'll
point?
make that motion.
I'll second it.
Call the roll.
Commissioner Vanilla,
Your motion's for Mid-America?
Exactly, yeah.
Yes.
For a 4-year contract.
Yes. I'll second that.
Call the roll.
Commissioner Vanilla,
Yay.
Commissioner Hightower.
Yay.
Commissioner Webb,
Yay.
Commissioner Goss.
Yay.
Mayor Butler.
Yay. Okay, the next item,
Table that, Mayor.
Thank you for your time. The only thing I would add is that those savings are based upon your current usage. If your usage goes up, your savings will increase as well.
yeah, that makes sense. In other words, the more you spend, the more you save.
I like my wife.
Counterintuitive too.
I've heard that before.
Yeah. Turn the lights
On
off.
table this.
Okay, item number 9 is tabled, not ready for that yet.
Right.
Now, I got a couple of things here. One, we have been notified by the International Institute of Municipal Clerks that Tammy Beasley has fulfilled all the requirements of the Master Municipal Clerk Program and has earned her MMC designation. The MCC is more than a pen, a certificate, and 3 letters at the end of her name. It is a declaration that she is proficient in her important position, and she has demonstrated mastery of administrative skills critical to good government. They extend their warmest congratulations to Tammy, and so do we.
You're right.
This designation is a rarity, I'm sure, among municipal clerks, and we're lucky to have Tammy with us.
Yeah, here.
Let's see, I have something else here. What did I do with it?
At the front of your book, I think.
I can find it. Well, Glenn Claret has been working on a major project concerning the Circuit City building. He has put in a lot of hours, spent a lot of time, has been doing a yeoman job. He has submitted the bill and has reduced it by half, which will be a saving of something over $1,100 to the city. So once again, we owe Glenn a debt of gratitude. And Brian may have a little bit to do with this, Clarita Ziegler, but we do appreciate the good work, and we appreciate your contribution to the welfare of the city.
Yeah, make sure you sell.
Good things will come out of it, but it's a steep hill to climb. But we got an ore in the water, now we got a road.
You had to sell extra smoothies this month now.
This is a major proposition. It's probably a long shot, but we feel that we are in the mix. There will be cities in several states competing for this particular project. Of course, we think ours is the best. We just hope the people making the judgment will use good judgment and select Marion for the project.
Key to it is they need a building that can go to 750,000 square feet, of which that qualifies for. And they have to have an existing building. So that, not every community has that.
It has the potential of hiring more than 500 people at the outset. This is a major proposition, and ultimately there will be millions of dollars involved. Obviously, the competition for this is quite keen. And it's been a trying time to put everything in place, and we think we just about got it ready to submit. And it has to be submitted by the end of the month?
No, it had to be submitted by a week and a half ago. We all submitted, you turned it in, we met the deadline, and it was tight.
Yeah.
We met the deadline, we had to work over the weekend to get it done. And Chicago, I talked to the DCO in Chicago, and we qualified, we met, and got under the wire for the deadline.
Yeah.
It's in, and to make a semi-final decision during the month of November, make a final decision the first week of January. So it's not going to be going out for...
So we recognize it's a long shot, but you know, if you don't try, you're never going to succeed.
That's right.
Yeah, and if it's not this, with what's been submitted,
We'll be ready for, sure,
we may be ready for something else.
absolutely.
For the water requirements is 1.3 million gallons of water a day. The sewer requirement is 650,000 gallons a day. And the electricity usage is 28 million watts a year. And they estimated probably look at $4 million a year just electrical charge.
We can furnish that. We can furnish all that to them?
We can furnish water and sewer, the electrical is question.
There you go.
There you go.
We have had the youth center
Yeah, you got it, Jim.
in operation since the early 1950s. It's about 70 years old, and it has had very little, if any, big-time maintenance during that time. The toilet facilities are way out of sync. I've asked for a proposal on doing what needs to be done, and just give you an idea, they propose demolition, that's tearing things out, masonry work, doors, hardware, carpentry, painting, flooring, ceilings, toilet partitions, plumbing, electrical. All that comes up to $69,650. Now, I have been appalled at the condition of the toilet facilities in that city facility. It is an embarrassment to think that we've had people going in there using that facility under such deplorable circumstances. Now, I'm suggesting that we submit this thing for bids, let various contractors look at it, see what they think they can do and at what cost. It's too good a building to just let deteriorate. So, anybody have any question about that?
No, I agree, it's in terrible shape.
Yeah.
The solution remains to be how to solve it. I know that,
Yeah.
and that's what you're starting here to see.
Yeah.
You need to kind of hold your nose when you go in those.
Yeah, see, and this is a city facility.
Yeah.
And it is an embarrassment.
Yeah.
People go in there and say, if this is the way the city maintains its buildings, what kind of city operation do they have?
That doesn't fall under the street department now, does it?
No, we want this done right.
Everything else falls under the street department.
Well, when they talk about demolition, now you guys can handle that.
We can tear it up, right.
So you're just asking the council to merely submit bids, or
Yeah.
request bids?
Yeah.
Or proposals.
Okay, that sounds good.
I know Brian said he had the roof looked at, and they thought it had a substantial amount of years left on it, so So that's something we can worry about. Now, what about the heating and air?
It has day-to-day lifespan.
Yeah, so here, and did we get a?
We have a quote that.
Yeah,
just as a temporary, just to kind of say what would it cost, because actually you really shouldn't do one without the other.
That's right, yeah, and I mean, if we're gonna submit bids on one, I think we need to submit bids on the other and get it all brought before the council at one time to
see where we are.
See where we are. Can you share that with the council? I mean, that was 60,000. What was the new cost?
I think the mayor has,
I don't have, all I've got is the one for the restroom. The roof needs work, heating and air conditioning need work. And remember, all of this is 70 years old. They don't make things like they used to. It only lasted 70 years.
We know. We took care of your TV this past week.
And by the way, Anthony, did you know they put a $20 charge for any TV over 50 years old, and there's only one in there. It cost the city an extra $20.
Now that TV was not 50 years old. Might have been 40.
That's all I know. It cost us $20.
But it was such a beautiful.
It was nice, yeah.
The woodwork was beautiful.
Yeah.
I mean, I hated to part with it.
Well, I can see it.
In fact, I couldn't be there to see him take it out. It affects me.
Well, I went early, but it was.
Okay.
So
we work on that.
So we want to do both.
I think we can get
requests for bids for both.
Separate bids.
Right.
Yeah. And we'll have to work out the details on that.
You can't get it.
Tracy, I see you there.
I was going to ask her when I got to me.
Do you have something? You mean you enjoy council meetings so much you just had to come?
I just like a giggle.
Oh, okay. Well, I think we still have a problem, personnel problem at the Hub Rec Center.
Could I pay some bills first? Could I pay some bills first?
Sure.
Okay. I make a motion to pay the monthly bills as funds become available.
Second.
Call roll.
Commissioner Vanilla?
Yay.
Commissioner Hightower?
Yay.
Commissioner Webb?
Yay.
Mr. Goss?
Yay.
Mayor Butler?
I make a motion to pay the consent agenda.
Second.
Call roll.
Commissioner Vanilla?
Yay.
Commissioner Hightower?
Yay.
Commissioner Webb?
Yay.
Commissioner Goss?
Yay.
And Mayor Butler?
Yay. Anything else?
Yes. This past Saturday, we had our third electronic recycling. And I got to say, this may have been our biggest year yet. I thought that we had every old console, every old projection TV in Marion taken up, but we didn't.
No.
And we filled a semi-tractor trailer truck full and a box truck, a pretty good sized box truck full of appliances. And we couldn't have did it without the help of our varsity football and basketball players. I called, the Boy Scouts had the encampment down at Massac County at Fort Massac, which is great for them to go watch. If you've never been down there and seen that reenactment, it's something in itself. And they were down there this weekend, so I called Coach Martin, and I said, I need some help. And he says, we can help you. Well, they sent like four kids in there, and the first ones I thought was pretty tall. I thought, I don't remember seeing any receivers out there Friday night that tall. And I said, you guys play football? And they go, no, we're with the basketball team. I'm thinking, well, golly, Marion's got a basketball player over 6'4". That's a rarity. But anyway, these kids come and they did a heck of a job. They got right in there, and actually right there at the end, Jamie Gott, Ashley and Amanda's oldest son, he's 6'5". He does play football, and he was a great help to those people doing that wrap around there, holding everything in place, because they didn't have anybody. And I'd had to get a ladder if I wanted to get up there to do it for him, but, being a little bit vertical.
Yeah, he just reached up.
Yeah, he just reached up there and went around it like it was nothing, and I'd had to have an 8-foot ladder to get up there, but, anyway, these kids did a great job. We had calls from Hardin County, Massac County, seeing this, and, and did they come? I don't know. We didn't ask. At 8:45, they were backed up out on Boulevard Street, stayed that way to probably 10:30 or so, backed off a little bit, and then, it ended at noon, but, here again, we're, I think it's a little bit cost to the city, but it's a beneficial cost to the city.
Yeah, well worthwhile.
It's not trashing up our roadways and countryside, and coupled with what the county does in the spring, there's no reason for people to dump their trash. Between the city and the county, we afford you every available means to dispose of that.
That's good.
Now, you've covered everything except talking about the people from the street department that came down there and loaded every piece of equipment and unloaded all that. Jason and Mike and Doug Phillips.
Yes.
They could not have done it without our equipment down there.
No.
It really.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because the street department never gets any credit for doing anything right.
Not anything good, you're right.
No, and I did kind of look at this piece of equipment there, and I said, John, I don't remember buying that. He goes, oh, yeah, it was in the budget.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard that?
Yeah. I've heard that so often.
It's in the budget.
One of these times I'm going to look it up.
I think that was in
the budget?
I think it's in the shadow agenda.
Yeah.
Okay, anything else?
That's it. I'm done.
Just want to echo the sentiments that you expressed earlier about the honor flight, Veterans Honor Flight. I mean, guys, you just had to have been there. I mean, I was very heartened by the response. Being a veteran, too, I mean, if you can't get chills and choked up over watching, that, I mean, there's something wrong with it. I mean, you guys are to be commended for, you guys are both in Korea, correct?
Yeah.
You definitely be commended for that.
Well, I was a little embarrassed because there were some real heroes on that flight. And of course, most of the guys are way up in years. They're almost as old as I am. In fact, there were one or two that were older. But you could tell by watching them and looking at them what kind of soldiers they had to have been. And it was really heartwarming.
Yeah.
What would you estimate? I'm going to say a couple thousand people.
Oh, sure.
A couple thousand people out there that they didn't even know these guys, but they appreciated what they did.
Oh, yeah.
And it's...
Well, I have people come up every now and then, and they'll say, thank you. Maybe John filled up a pothole in front of their street, or the city did something else to help them in some way. And so I'm used to people thanking me. And so when we got off the airplane, all these people, and they said, thank you. I'm thinking, well, I didn't do anything, and I'm immediately thinking, now what pothole did John fill?
Well, you never let up, do you, Mayor?
But everybody was saying thanks, thank you.
Yeah.
And like I say, I didn't deserve anything like that. I wasn't a hero, but there were heroes on that trip.
No, you guys
really
are.
Great guys, and it was something. Well, okay, you didn't have anything else?
No, I'm done.
Okay.
I'm done.
Okay, Jim?
Done?
Nothing.
John? Okay. We have Ms. Carter here, I think.
Crane.
It's Crane.
Oh, Crane, I'm sorry. I had Carter on my mind earlier, yeah. What I want to do, and Chris, this thing is keeps bubbling up. What I'd like to do is to have the management people, whatever you got, 3 or 4, meet with Mrs. Crane eyeball to eyeball. I keep hearing on one side something, on the other side something, and I'm tired of that. I want to get these people together and get this thing sorted out once and for all.
I agree with that, Mayor.
So you,
I think that if there's a neutral mediator, then I think that would be...
you pick out a time and let me know, and we'll go from there.
And Mayor, I'd also like to say that I'd like Debbie Fossey to show up, the same girl that was with me today. She would like to be allowed to that meeting as well.
And what I would like to say in response to that is she's currently an employee at the hub, and she is in a different department than Leila Crane was, and she's also lateral. She is not in a supervisory position. And I don't know the grounds of that other than a personal relationship.
Yeah, well, okay, whoever, one of the problems I saw is Ms. Crane was working in two departments. She had two bosses, and that kind of an arrangement never is going to work. That might have been one of the reasons for some of the problems. But what I want to do is to get your people together with her, and I'm going to get this thing sorted out once and for all, because I'm tired of hearing about it.
I appreciate that. And respectfully, it has worked with multiple employees in various departments. So I do see it a workable situation relative to different job classifications, allows a person to
Okay.
apply their talents in various areas and for us to benefit from that. And so I respectfully...
You tell me when it'll be convenient, and we'll go.
I'd rather not go any further about
I
this
just have
in
one
public.
question. I was just wondering if we can make this sooner than later, because I've already...
Hey, look, I'm going to move as quickly as we can, and I appreciate your concern. So Chris will get it, he'll let me know when it can be available. I'll notify you, and we'll go from there.
I appreciate that.
Okay, having said all that, is there anything else we need to take up?
Oh, I make a motion, we adjourn.
Say that louder.
Let's make a motion, we adjourn.
Oh,
Second.
say that louder.
Second.
Okay, call the roll.
Commissioner Vanilla.
Yay.
Commissioner Hightower.
Yay.
Commissioner Webb.
Yay.
Commissioner Goss.
Yay.
Mayor Butler.
Yay.
Well done.
Thank you, kids. You did good.
I appreciate your time.